of course, as in the slide I wrote, I didn't say aloud, but please, if you look at the site, not too big, not too small, okay? So not to the site of the Metropolitan Museum of Arts of New York or something similar, but neither the museum of your parish church in your little town, okay? Something middle, okay? And try to understand if you want that in this site will be more things, what kind of things, which kind of publication in order to, I don't know, database, digitalization, and so on. If you have thought your project, what you think now it's possible to do, or you want to do with your project. Tomorrow we will discuss again about this after I've seen some DH projects and some possibilities in the DH field. Okay, there is no order to intervene. I ask to my colleague, actually Vittore, and my sister Nicoletta, to comment, intervene, and suggest, thinking to the project that we did together in these years. So please help. And who wants to begin? Who wants to start? To say us which kind of what he or she ever thought. Please. Who wants to start? Nobody? I have to ask.
Well,
Ruben.
Well, I thought mostly about my project. I have seen some very interesting projects going on websites, but not really about libraries, but more like projects focused on single or very specific corpus of books. So thinking on how I would like to follow up on this kind of project that I have seen online, things that may be interesting to do also for my project, either now or in the near future. So my project is about recipe books, which is something that nowadays seems to be
Printed the book.
Sorry?
Printed the recipe book.
Mostly for now, it's mostly printed book. I have
Okay.
all thoughts about future developments, which may include also, I would like to include also manuscript books, but for now it's only printed books. There are tons of recipes in these collections, and there is still not a comprehensive database of these recipes. So this is something that I would like to do, and sometime. It's not feasible for my PhD project, but it's one of the possible developments. I have also thought about this project of not necessarily a very complex, but also a simple website that might work as a showcase of the project, and a way to disseminate the bibliographic material available, the sources that I have been using, both the primary and the secondary sources. So an online bibliography might also be useful in this sense. And above all, I think it would be very interesting to, since one of the things that attracts most of recipe books today is of early modern and Renaissance recipe books today is the rediscovery of the hands-on knowledge, and so the practical expertise, the craftsmanship that is behind these recipes.
Ruben, this is a name, but you don't told me the shape of this content.
You mean
the craftsman knowledge?
I would like to give it the shape of an hands-on workshop, and to disseminate online, like online sharing of these workshops, to like put into practice, to try and put into practice this kind of knowledge. And in this, of course, talking about interdisciplinarity, I would need to involve natural scientists or chemists to perform this kind of recipes. So I don't know. These are some of the directions towards the online dissemination and the use of digital tools to disseminate online the material on which I'm working.
Okay, thank you, Ruben. Someone else, and let's collect something.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Elia.
Hi, Elia.
I've thought about particular thing that I've experienced in my master thesis, because I'm a literature student, but during my thesis in the study of the tragedies of Vittorio Alfieri, I've had the possibility to examine the, not directly, but the possibility to examine the autographs of Alfieri that are in the Biblioteca Medicea Laurenziana di Firenze. And that particular autographs are not digitalized. I've studied on some, non so come si dicano in inglese, le diapositive, quelle vecchie.
Microfilm.
Microfilms. And that was not a good way to experiment a manuscript, because there are created for technologies of 30, 40, 50 years ago. Then I'm interested in understand how it's possible to work in this way, in the digitalization of this kind of manuscripts, because these kind of manuscripts are really thin, really
delicate.
Then what kind of technologies one should use to digitalize this kind of things, because they are not a printed book, they're not a simple text, really solid. Thank you.
But when you okay, this is clear also for Ruben, but Ruben was explained us that he wants to do a website with several things. Okay, you speak only of digitizations, but it means if you stop here, okay, I mean take the manuscript, make the digital reproduction, and put the output in a computer and read it. This is what you mean, or you mean more?
I think that it will be perfect if there will be the possibility to confront the various manuscripts, because for each tragedy we have up to 4 different manuscripts for each tragedy. Then the possibility to have EPUB, where you can confront the various states of the single tragedy, would be an incredible instrument for whoever wants to study this kind of works.
Here I have 2 comments on this idea, which is a good one. But the first one is that the physical digitization is something that clearly has to do with the Laurentiana. I mean, as you said, if they are delicate, that is something should be a project that is somehow not only approved but sponsored by the Laurentiana, because otherwise you cannot touch or put those documents under the scanner. So, but this is, between quotes, is a practical problem. The second one that I see, in the sense more ambitious, if you want, as a project, is that once that you have digitized, that this is only the first easy step. Then you have to transcribe, meaning because you can use some OCR, the optical character recognition technologies, but especially if they are manuscripts, the results are very poor. So there is at that point some kind of substantial work to transcribe and to take out of the images of the scanner the text, because that would be the starting point for the confrontation and the rest. Unless when you say confrontation, you really mean that to confront the images, the handwriting. But I don't think that this is what you mean. I think that you really mean the content, I mean the words. Yeah. And however, until you transcribe, you have no program really that can help you in this confrontation.
Sure.
And okay, I have a question, since we are here, also for Ruben. I mean, these books, the recipes on these books, those are printed books, not manuscript.
Yes.
Yes.
Printed, and so from this point of view that can be easier, because for printed characters OCR is today enough accurate, let's say more than 95%. So that means that once that you have digitized, you have 90% of the text already available.
Yeah, so that's true. So that part would be easier, but that's also why I would love to include at some point manuscript material.
Yeah, but then you are again with this problem that the manuscript material requires much more work.
You need also paleographic skills, which fortunately I have a little bit. So that would be an issue only to a certain extent, but still, of course, it requires extra time, extra skills, and also thinking, for instance, of the geographical and linguistic aspect, that would also require the expertise, probably at a certain point, of an historian of the Italian language, maybe, or this kind of other disciplines to be taken on board to bring not only to offer the material like it is, but also to offer some insights on what it's in there, and so to use it as a starting point to do research and to share also the results of those researches on those texts, on those recipes online.
No, that's
okay. Please, another view. It doesn't matter if something is has been said, repeat, if there are something similar, or add something else. Another one only.
May I?
Yeah.
I agree with Elia with the necessity of digitize all manuscripts and printed books, but I think that it is more important to create a digital catalog, because if we have a very good material digitized, a very good
digital catalog of what?
Of manuscripts and printed books, because I think that maybe it's useless to digitize and transcribe all the material if we have not a catalog, which is the instrument to access to all these digitized material.
Here, however, I can make the David's advocate, meaning how can you somehow think of digitize something if there is not already a catalog? How do you know that they exist?
Yeah.
Unless you find them in your cellars or your attic, I mean, in Soffitta. But if you go to something in an archive or in a library, they are already items of the catalog. Otherwise, you would not access them.
I'm thinking more about a digital catalog, which consists of a search mask in a very well structured metadata, not only the digitization of printed catalog.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who is writing digital atlas? Okay, Julia, good. Okay, now you can add, or you can also put your name just near the other. In my file, I put in yellow the digitization of manuscript because of the things that Vittore said that is really true now. So if I actually I can I should not do the digitization for myself. If I am a scholar, I can ask simply that the digitization would be made, or I have to do by myself. In our experience, me and Vittore, we have the both. So we have in some project we had to digitize some manuscripts with our scanner. Okay, so knowing how to do it. And in some other project, we simply received the digital copy and treated it for our purpose. Okay, so this line is not completely a DH issues. Okay, it is. Okay, if you are an archivist, you work in libraries and archives, so you have to know how to do it. But this is an issue that can be, I don't know, given to others. Ask for. Okay, I can ask to archive, to libraries to do it for me. Okay. Here you can write, but I'd like very much also not only write, please do it, but speak. All of you speak aloud. Okay, try to understand which kind of competence and knowing we need for each task, and how these tasks are related one of each other, because as you begin to understand, and I think that Ruben has really understood very well, everything he wants to do, call another task, and then another task, and then another things that he wants to do. Okay, please, when we speak of digitization of books or manuscripts, is the same. Okay, from the point of view of the scanner is the same. So this is not a great deal. Okay, is different when we speak about the text. Okay, so when now the issue digitization of printed books is not related to the process of passing from the paper to the pixel, so not as the problem related to images, but is a problem related to the dealing with the text, okay, with the content. This is clear for you? If it's clear, you don't speak, so I assume it is clear. Please tell me, in your opinion, which kind of competencies you need to metto più piccolo. Which kind of competences you need in order to, you think you need in order to do it. You need not only for yourself, but only for other people, of course. You're free to speak. Huh?
Maybe I'm thinking about codicological competencies because of many scholars are interested in this aspect, and a process of digitization maybe should be focused also on this aspect, on these material aspects, and in a digitized object, often this is take apart.
Okay, codicology. Now I put here dov'è? I put here this all together so we see the difference. Codicology, I think, is the same for manuscript, no? For yes. So for the transcription, you don't need of the printed books. You don't need particular competence personally in, for instance, paleography. You need it with manuscript. Okay, but from the point of view of the automatic recognition of the text, that is this. Okay, who of you knows what OCR is? You have to speak, huh? Someone that doesn't know what OCR is? It's better as a question.
Yes, it is a software to that can read a text inside an image.
Okay, it's clear now?
Yes, but I mean OCR really means optical character recognition. So it is really a program, as you're saying, is a software that takes an image of text and then identifies each letter, each character in this text, and the output of the OCR is the text contained in the scanned document, as if you had typed it on the keyboard. So this is really, I mean, the first needed step in order to bring into the computer what is the content of the manuscript or the book that you have digitized, because the output of the scanner is an image. And so it is good, useful, for example, if you want then to explore very old manuscript or miniatures or paintings. But for doing any processing of the content, you need to go through this step, which, as I was saying, is today is rather reliable for printed text, for handwritten text, and then if you move back in the past for manuscripts, medieval, and so on, it's more and more, let me say, difficult to recognize the handwritten characters, and therefore you need some manual intervention to correct the output of the OCR process. So this is the picture that we needed to have in mind.
Okay, but I don't know who before Vittore, who the woman who was speaking, but okay, we when you apply an OCR software, it a lot of the quality of the output changes a lot in relation to the software and to the quality of the text printed. Okay, so normally
and the language
and the language because the software is more trained in some languages, is less trained in other. And for instance, if you have if your books are from, I don't know, 17th century, these books has letters of some shapes. I don't know if the books are from Germany. You can have also in 19th century. You can have Gothic font used in the books, or some strange in the old European languages, some strange shape for the letter S or G or Z. So the problem, what's the problem, is that normally the output of this software are not really good. Ruben, do you agree?
Yes, it's also another problem that usually also in printed books from the 16th century still is a problem, is the fact that those books still use some of the abbreviations used in manuscripts. So sometimes, well, if the program is trained to recognize those standard abbreviations, that's already a step forward. Otherwise, that is also an issue which one has to take into account when producing the transcription also of printed books for that period. Maybe from the 17th century onwards, it's easier also in printed books. Maybe not so easier with manuscript, because it's true that with the medieval and Renaissance manuscripts, well, of course, it's often another kind of handwriting, another different typology, graphic typologies. I don't know how to say it exactly in English, but it's more standardized in medieval books, while in modern books there is not the same.
Okay. What after I go to this, who is writing now, but I have to finish this item. The fact that the OCR doesn't recognize very well all the letters. It means that your output is not good, so it's not published immediately. Okay, because there are a lot of mistakes. Okay, this, I think that's all. A lot of you use the service of archive.org, who is has a lot of this kind of OCR recognized printed books. And with the possibility to download the text. And if you do it, you notice that there are a lot of mistakes. So if you are interested in understanding what the book is saying, good. But if you need to work really on text, so to make to do analysis of the text, to find some words instead of others, some subjects instead of others, you need a clean text. Okay, in order to have a clean text, you have to use some tools for annotation. Okay, so you have to, in a way very simple, okay, take a test, normal test, okay. Okay, this is a very short text. Okay, and if you see there is a sort you can you can see that you can find some mistake, I don't know, okay. If you find the mistake, for instance, Burgos and Murgus, okay, you have Burgum in your text, and you change in Burgos because the OCR did not recognize well the letter, okay. Simple question. If you have a short text, okay, you can do it by yourself, of course, and using a simple software for the text, so text for the TXT, or for more refined text, just a Word or OpenOffice, and so on. So a Word, come si chiamano, Vittore, i software per Word? I Word?
Word processor, che software?
Sì, i software con Word si chiamano qualcosa, ma I don't remember now the category, the name of the category of the software who take care of the text. But if you have, I don't know, 10 books, 20 books, 50 books of recipe, you cannot do it by yourself, okay. You need some well-designed tools in order to not only make your annotation and correction, but also sharing this work to your collaborators, okay. For instance, Wikisource is such a tool, okay. So, but you need to know how a wiki software works, okay. And in order to use a wiki, okay, you have to know something about management, not in the sense, economic sense, in the sense of team management, okay, because you have, I don't know, 20 people to whom you have distributed your 20 books or 10 books or 50 pages each, in order to correct the text, okay. I think that is not possible to also to work in this field without knowing something about the content. What you think, Robin?
Yeah, well, I have to say didn't know much about recipe books before starting to work on it. But of course, if one wants to, and that was one of the things I was thinking about.
A recipe of cookery?
Mostly medicine and craftsmanship. There is not much about cookery in the books that I'm working on. So it's mostly something that, of course, I would really benefit from confrontation with an historian of science or with a natural historian or a chemist for this kind of recipes, not only to understand the cultural and historical context that brought people to believe that certain ingredients were useful and others were not, but also if I would like to try and reenact some of these recipes.
Okay, this is another thing. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that point I would really need the help of a chemist, of course, to try and make, I don't know, how to sublimate mercury or so, something like that.
In this field here, who has written about layout and design software, ebook creation program, 3F standards, word processor era il coso, perché mi mancava. Who
about IIIF?
Okay, what with about the sharing images?
Yeah.
Okay, this is something maybe related to this issues, website, and this one. No? Okay.
Yeah, for framework for metadata and image description. Yeah.
So you have these books, digital, the images of these books, and you pass them through an OCR software, and you take the text and you share the text for the annotation in order to be published. But you want to do also an online catalog of these books. So, and you want that the people don't have only the book, the text, the content, but also the possibility to look at the images. So you have to deal with all the problem of make an edition image based, that is based on images, and make a project that works with images. Okay. Who about layout design software?
Io sono stata io, Enrica.
Why here?
Because you need an instrument to digitalize a book. If you want to make a layout of a book, then you have to digitalize it as an e-book or a PDF or something else. You need to have a edit and design software to do this.
Okay, but now not in this box. For now, we put it here. Okay, if you do the website of these books, you have to decide if you want. Okay, this is for all. The question is for Ruben, because this is his project. But of course, you can choose, or you have to choose, if you want, a catalog. So a database, a library of the books, and in the website. So when I choose a book, I click on the book, and I have on one side the images, on the other side the text, annotated, so corrected, so or commented also, okay? Or I can choose if I want to have a sort of traditional layout. Forgive me if traditional. So, for instance, the images digitalized with text within, and that I can read, such as a normal book, but on an electronic device. Or I could want to create another book, okay, a collage, another book with this text, and images, and have another creation. So, for instance, this catalog not as a database, but as a sort of exhibition on site or on an ebook of this lot of books of recipes. Okay, it's you can you can answer, okay, I want everything. Okay, the answer is no, this is not possible. Not for the technical issues, of course. It is possible to have both catalog and books and image-based edition with text annotated. Of course, this is possible, but it's not realistic. Okay, you have to choose what you want in order to answer to your question or satisfy your audience. Okay.
I see. I have to say I didn't think much about a digital library of my books, probably because at the moment there's still printed books that are easily retrievable already online. So I would of course give the possibility to navigate the text, which is something that, for instance, many of the copies available on Google Books cannot provide. But still, probably I would think more of a catalog. And if I were to offer a digitized text, I think it would be most interesting to provide the idea of the collage was really nice, because I think what would be really fascinating is to focus on the single recipes and to follow their development from book to book, and so the recipe would become the basic unit of this library in a way, and so to shape the digital collection around the single recipes more than the books, more versatile, more interactive in a way, probably, and surely much more difficult to do, but I think that would be the most interesting thing.
I'm still online. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You then you have understood that you have to think well on what you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And passing on the second line, the difference, it's important to understand the difference between a digital edition of printed books and digital edition of manuscripts. So if for printed books, there are available software, very useful software for the automatic transcription, is not the same for the manuscript. There are some really interesting projects about this, but they are really ongoing researchers. So there are examples of automatic recognition of handmade writings, but the problem here is really great because, of course, it's not really possible in a manuscript to recognize a single letter, and also it's very difficult to recognize the words, because you know that in medieval ages or in ancient text, the punctuation is not so clear as in printed books, and also there are a lot of abbreviations. So there are really a lot of issues to deal with. That is style of writing, abbreviation, space between words, punctuation. Okay, so in this field, you have to deal more than in the first line about the manual transcription. Okay, and then this means also digital edition of this text. Okay, because you can do the manual transcription. Then the question is what you do with this transcription. You study it for yourself. Okay, so the problem is only some tools that help you on digital transcription, or you want to, I don't know, publish it in order to unlight something about this this text. So make a digital critical edition. Okay. The question is for Elia.
For sure, digital critical edition is the most important things, because the mere transcription is not really interesting for the society.
TI, ok, quindi manual transcription, paleography, codiology, digital critical edition, that is text encoding, XML, TI, ok? This is it. But let's take the website at the end. And bene, avete messo, you put a lot of things. Okay, but okay, for online bibliography, okay, you know you have to know about also all the fields related to library science. Okay, library information science. I put here this software, but there are other softwares that are useful for the construction of a bibliography. I know Zotero, but maybe you are using EndNote, Mendeley. What you are using normally, or you don't use anything?
At the moment, I'm not using still anyone, but I know about Zotero. I was planning to make use of it in the moment in which I would like to create an online bibliography of my sources, and I was thinking about Zotero actually. Yes.
Okay. Okay, a lot of competence. Let's go on. Confrontation of manuscripts, content and images. So here, Vittore, what we suggest here? Here now we use a software that is called EVT, is open source and allow for now, the confrontation of the images with the text, but of course you have to work in on I don't think with some code, because not with I don't know, PHP or JavaScript, in order to build a structure who allows you to confront several texts all together, okay? Or use some tools, it depends, that are online, in order to analyze automatically the content. I don't know if Elia, in the confrontation of manuscript, you mean a confrontation of text or confrontation of the images, so the way of writing words?
I was thinking about the confrontation of texts, because in this way we can
Okay,
see
allora this as a natural language processing methodology. Okay, so you have to understand, you need to know about the linguistic. Okay, and enter in the great field of natural language process methodology. Okay, so everything here is not useful, but of course you have to know also history, because there will be a lot of words that you have to understand, no? And analyze in a historical partner and field. If you have something to add, please do it. Huh? Okay. For GIS or the yeah.
No, as I was asking, I see this line, which is Digital Catalog of Items, IIF, IIIF, and Christina. Why you think that the IIF is good for a digital catalog of items?
No, I put it there because the digital catalog of pictures.
Digital catalog of pictures, that is right, but a digital catalog of text.
Okay.
IIF would be very, very good for example, for what we are saying before, confrontation of manuscript. If you want to, for example, if you have some medieval code and you have two different codes of the same text, you then that could be really useful to compare the two codes that are around.
See, no, it's me that I put here because this was in a line above and was not in the right place. So when you have a digital catalog, you have to deal with text, but also with pictures. So I thought it was more useful put them here. Of course, it's not to complete the digital catalog. Please, Vittore, complete the digital catalog need in order to competencies and tools.
Digital catalog of items, I mean, whatever they are, you need competence in metadata. And I would say even more in general in resource description. For example, if you want to, we have not yet touched on that, but if you want to make a catalog of which is well suited for the semantic web, then you have to go into this resource description with RDF or things like that. So this is the resource, I mean, the skill that you need for a catalog type. And of course, you need a good knowledge of the field that you are cataloging, but that we are taking for granted.
Okay.
That is nice, interactive map to...
This is nice, but it's not a GIS, of course. It's a sort of website. Okay,
Yes,
is a website, is something related to website. So let's put the website up and see web designer. Okay, web designer. So from now on, let's see if there is something else below. But website is okay. We have now text, images, catalog of items, and online bibliography. Okay. There are also this that is something that I once from my website organizes something. Okay, conference, workshop, communication activities related to the content. Okay. And this means not only social media, okay, but also what?
yeah.
Okay, for instance. Okay.
Okay.
If someone has something to add, okay, please do it. Okay, so we have a lot of content in our project now, and a lot of competencies that we need. Okay. And you in the first you of course we can choose to do everything or to choose something. That is my suggestion for you all. Not to try to do everything once, but choose 1, 2, 3 things only that you want to do. Okay. And these things that in any case needs a lot of competencies have some tools. Okay. You need to put it in a website. Okay, so the web designer is not the same. The only competence you need. You need only hosting. Something who hosts your project and gives you some services related to this project. Okay. And you also need to I think also communicate the existence of your project, because if you don't publish it, if you don't spread the information that the website exists, the service exists, you have to contact people that who is interested to use it. Okay, this is related, of course, of your initiative in these fields. Okay.
I will say it's like the workshop that you have to do some advertising. However, for the website, I might make an optimistic comment that says that if your site is well done, you might rely on Google to be found. Because if the topic of your website really appears clearly, and if somebody is looking for that subject, it may happen that your website appears in the Google results. I'm not joking. I mean, this is one of the reasons that it is worth, again, designing very good websites, because one of, even if it is not clear from the outside, but one of the main, if not really the main, but one of the parameters that Google uses in putting, let me say, the list of sites that shows you in the result is also based on how good is the architecture and the implementation of the website. So this is not only the content, but also this technical aspect.
Okay. This one. Okay, I don't say.
Gamification.
The link to other projects could be an issue of the other websites. Oh, sorry. Okay. So what you want to put in this website is also, of course, important, because the website is the way of how you communicate with the other. So if you are a museum, if you are a library, if you are an archive, if you can choose to attract your community by workshop or by game. Someone has put gamification with the link to the social media, with a virtual tour, with an interactive map. So these are all means to make the public's access to your content. Okay. And so you have to choose which kind of tool, of a way. So if in the first part you are focused on the content, in the second you are focused on how to make a public access your content, to how to facilitate, how to engage people to participate to your project, to look at your project. Okay. So if in the first part maybe more related to research about the text, images, and items, in the second is more related to allow the research, your research, but the research of other people in your content. Okay. Let's go on. So let's see if it's possible, in your opinion, that you have all of these competence all together. Okay. So the answer is plain, and is no. You can have. Okay. So what we can do? What you think you can do?
If you have all the competencies that you have underlined from top to bottom, you are God. You can do everything.
Please answer my question.
I think that, as we said before, the dialogue is really important, because there are a lot of competencies, and it's quite difficult to have them all. So the exchange between scholars, it's the most important thing.
Okay, based on what? So please, let's reason out these teams that we are building. Okay, you are the chief, the chief let's see this just because Ruben has proposed a lot. Ruben, you are the chief, okay? Now you have to choose what to do, and you are the chief of your team, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Please choose only 3 things that you want to do, and
Yes, I would say
ask and ask to please explain what you want to do, and ask for competencies to your colleagues that they are now listening to you. So you have to motivate and ask them what you want.
Okay, I'm not very good at this, but I'll try. So yeah, no, for sure. I think the first thing would be the website. In any case, I think that the creation of a website and the advertisement of the research and the output of that research on the website is the first step. Then
No, wait, can I interrupt you, Ruben? Because again, in my view, the website is the last.
Is the last.
Because
I agree.
I mean, how can you think or design a website if you don't know what you're going to show?
That's true. That's true. I mean, I'm still thinking about the idea of the website first of all as a showcase, and then to implement it.
You're right, but the website is the last step in the sense that first you have to well define the material. Then you have to define who is your main public, meaning who are the expected main visitors of your website. And then, based on those 2 things, you can design the website.
Okay, then I would say the thinking of the website as first of all a showcase. I would say the online bibliography and a catalog or a library of the sources, the primary sources used. So probably the
digital catalog of books with metadata, of books with text.
Well, depending, of course, on how much time I have, because probably the encoding of the whole text will take longer, I think, than just give the metadata and the information and just the pictures of the books. So I would have to assess how much time I have at my disposal, and based on that, decide which route I'll have to take. But let's say that I have a lot of time, which I don't, but let's pretend I have, and let's go with the digitization of the text. So the transcription.
This one.
Of text. Yeah.
Okay, so now you have the digitization of text with annotation, online bibliography. Catalog, right?
Possibly a catalog, yes, and the website.
Want to put in the website.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need you have to choose which kind of competency you need in your team, and motivated them. So what's your project for?
So let's think. So if I think, so one of the aim of my project is the dissemination of this kind of knowledge, and especially from the point of view of the medical recipes. So in terms of competencies,
stop, please, people. You think that's a good motivation? Okay, you have your answer. This is something that we discuss tomorrow, but you have to think to your public.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the aim of a research should be well focused in order to know which kind of people you think would be interested in your project.
Yeah.
Okay. This is an important issues that we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon. Okay. So, which kind of competence do you think you have? Which kind of your competence you think you don't have, and you need to deal with in a strong way, and which kind of competence you think to ask, but you need to understand what your teammates are doing.
Well, I would have some competencies in codicology and the history of press and paleography, so that part would be covered. Also, of course, any confrontation and dialogue and feedback is always very useful, but I wouldn't have to rely on an external person or on another person and team to do that. Of course, if the idea is to digitize and eventually transcribe or integrate the transcription obtained with the OCR with some check on it, probably more than one person doing this might be good. Then thinking of the bibliography, I think it would be nice to have the online bibliography as an open access, but also into how I would say it, so that other scholars could add material, and so the bibliography itself becomes a space of dialogue and of people to share knowledge. So I think that would be a collective effort, probably. Then for the digital catalog and the description, the metadata, and also the website. For that, I know I will need to rely on the expertise of someone else, but I would also need to understand what those persons were doing to get everything going in the direction that I want. So I cannot just give I want a website and then don't give any more care to it. But I know I don't have the competences for that.
So it's also here with the designer.
Yeah.
So I'm putting in yellow the people who you think you have to deal with, and in green what you think you can manage by yourself mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that this is a good. Of course, there is more, because you in one of your first
yeah, of course.
desire was this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and for that, for sure, I would have to rely both for advertisement. I can do it myself, but I'm not really that good with social media, so probably also to have someone else also. Well, I think that advertisement is also a collective effort, and the more people talk about something, the more visibility it has. So
how you manage digital video, digital audio, podcast?
I mostly don't. I mostly don't manage with digital video and digital audio.
And here there is also the place of what Nicoletta said about ebook. Huh?
Yeah.
Because if you do a workshop, maybe you want to make some text, no, in order to give to your students, to your participants, okay, or something similar. Okay, I think that we did a great job. I hope you are not so scared now. Huh?
Well, no, I mean, I didn't come that much prepared, I have to confess. So I mostly throw ideas, and I don't really have a clear idea of where I want to go. But this has been very useful. Also, start.
Yes, but I speak also to the other, because now you use a lot, Ruben, but please, now I need to listen also to the other. Okay, we took the example made by Ruben and by someone of you, and try to build a first project in DH related to a particular kind of objects that are recessive book, and we choose only to do something of all the things that is possible to do, and with some with this with this item, and we saw how difficult it is to do everything, how many competence we need. What you think about what impression you have about this first the first come si dice tentativo, Vittore? Attempt. L'idea tentative, ma non stava bene. Il first attempt to do a DH program, a DH project. What do you think, please? Have you understood something more? Are you scared? Are you thinking now it's impossible to do it? What do you think? Everyone is dead or scared.
Scared, I would say.
Scared. I actually I have to say, yeah, go.
I have a question. Do you think that is it possible to talk about humanist in a classical sense, or more simply, we have to become all digital humanists because of this new organization of the knowledge? And I think maybe no one can be a classical humanist since this century.
This is my answer.
No, again, we have a different opinions. Because in my view, again, I think that you have to be a humanist, a classic humanist, and then you have to learn how to use new tools. I mean, you learn before the automobile, the cars, you were just learning how to walk, how to go on the bicycle. Then the cars arrived, and you had to learn how to drive a car. But you remain, what you were before. It's not because you're driving a car, you become a driver.
This is an old argument between me and Vittore, but this is not true. This is not true in my opinion, because he is thinking about the individual person, and I'm thinking about the society. Okay. Can you? The question is, can you live without your smartphone now? Of course, yes. You can live. You can eat and sleep and make a walk. Okay, but you are not living in your real society. okay, if you don't use the tools of your society. If you are a scholar in a discipline, are you allowed not to be updated with the new methodology of your subject itself? I think the answer is no. You are not allowed to. And stay. I answer to your question, to your objection. Okay, the car didn't change me. This is not true. The car changed an entire world completely.
I agree.
Okay, the society changed by the car, by the invention of the car. If you are a humanist, you are someone who is interpreting and understanding the society where you live. It's not okay. It's not I am looking to what Tito Livio said because I'm happy when I read Tito Livio or Cicerone or Omero or other classical writers of the ancient Rome. Okay, you're not doing it for your fun. You are doing it for science. So you are a community to answer to. You are a public to answer to. So you have to use the tools that are changing your discipline. And this means you have to be a digital humanist. You cannot go and simply to an expert of information science says, okay, I want to do this, please give me the tool, because the tool is changing your work. This, of course, is my opinion. Vittore thinks...
No, I have the same opinion, but maybe it's just a better wording. Because, again, when you say that you want to be a digital humanist, in my view, you have to remain a humanist. And now you have to, as you were saying, you cannot be a humanist going on without using a computer. It's like you were saying, I mean, you can live without a smartphone, but it is much difficult, and you're losing something. You're losing some contacts with the society. I think the same is for your work. If you are a humanist and you don't want to use these tools, you lose somehow contact with your community. You are not contributing as much as you could. So learning how to use these tools is really essential. And I also agree with Enrica that the use of those tools may change the way that you are doing your job, the way that you are doing your research, the way in which you are being a humanist. But in my view, the essence is that you are a humanist that is moving and learning to use these new tools to become a better humanist.
But you have to. At the end, you have to.
There is no choice. You have to. Today,
no
how can you study something without really then? And especially if you want to communicate the results of your work today, you cannot do without. I don't know.
Now in all European and now also national financial program, an essential part of the issue is which kind of need you answer to. This stable issues. I don't see this is completely good. Okay, this answer also to a logic of the society that I don't agree with completely. Okay, the utilitarianism. So this is a big question, but in a more strict meaning, you have to think, okay, my research, how can I can publish it, spread them in a useful way, in a good way, in a way that allows people to understand why I have spent my a lot of years studying this in this society, in this world now. It means being a digital humanist.
Thank you.
It's my opinion, of course, but all the other they are all mute, so I think they agree or disagree, but they don't want to speak.
I agree, and if I can add something, I think that is not only a tool question, because the product is different also. So.
The product and the way the other can use your product.
Yeah.
Ruben and I we cited the bibliographic tools that now allow to share the bibliography. This is a complete revolution in the traditional way of working, because I can really share. And now in my now I leave you because it's you are arriving to the end, but if I show you my Zotero library, only to make your look at my library. This is my personal library, okay? The library of my 30 years of work. There are almost 10,000 of items, okay? But these lists are all collaborative libraries, collaborative bibliographies, okay? So bibliographies that I maintain with other people, that people who is allowed to add, modify, or erase at item. This is completely different from the way that in humanist worked before. This is a change, and this is we will deal tomorrow. And so the first day of the summer school ended. I think that you are. I hope you are alive and happy to have learned something. Tired, maybe, but ready to join us tomorrow.
Okay, sleep well, because tomorrow I will be the first one, and I have another nice lesson that we will talk about the web, the internet, the networking, and so on. But hopefully we'll be more close to what we are really doing. Today we are just what I would call the ABC, to know what is behind your screen somehow.
Okay.
Ciao
ragazzi.
Thank you very much.
Arrivederci. Buona serata.
Grazie, arrivederci. Grazie,
A domani.
A domani.
A domani.
The same link. Same.
A domani, grazie.
Okay.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Noi ci fermiamo un attimo, Francesco.
Sì, caro.
Ma insomma, poco. Dunque, io ho visto lo scambio di mail, vediamo se è vero del Seamus Ross, che io ho la stessa tua visione. Se non manda i fogli ce ne freghiamo, basta che faccia lezione.
Sì.
Ecco, e quello me l'ha continuato a promettere, dice no, stai tranquillo, perché io tempo fa gli avevo scritto, dico non ho più saputo nulla, dico ma sei malato, ma la fai lezione? Dice sì, stai tranquillo, solo un po'.
Ma anche per gli orari, ma può farlo, cosa si
ecco, io ora magari proprio pensavo a quello, perché lui, essendo a Toronto, c'ha 6 ore di differenza, la mattina alle 9 sono 9 meno 6 fa 15, sono le 3 del mattino.
Bartucci ce lo siamo perso di Macerata, o dorme?
Ce lo siamo perso, in che senso?
Nel senso che è ancora online, ma siccome non è uscito immagino che che abbia lasciato acceso e se ne sia andato a prendere.
È facile questo, sì.
Sì. Bene,
domani,
speriamo,
comunque,
quindi io sono un po' preoccupata per Seamus, perché essendo in Canada, che orari fa?
No, ecco, io gli scriverò se ha realizzato che lui, quando ha detto sì, doveva parlare alle 3 del mattino. perché
Se no bisogna, cosa facciamo se dici di no?
se mai alla peggio, no, più che se dice di no, se mai alla peggio si potrebbe provare a dargli 2 mezzi pomeriggi e sentire per esempio Augusto, che è uno degli amici, se anche lui fosse disponibile a fare 2 mattine, mi spiego?
Sì.
Io pensavo a questo discorso qui, di fare 2 mattine Augusto e 2 pomeriggi Scemus, perché allora a quel punto, cominciando alle 2, a me 14 meno 6, siamo ancora a livelli accettabili.
Va bene.
Quindi ora gli scrivo, allora, aspetto se stasera veramente mi manda tutto quello che ha promesso. Se me lo manda gli dico, ah bene, grazie, ma hai realizzato che dovrai cominciare a parlare alle 3 del mattino?
Sì, ok.
E vediamo.
Va bene.
Dunque, no, io volevo dirti che te dovresti aggiungere e invitare anche la Monica Monachini e la Francesca.
Ah, sì, gli mando il link. Tanto mando a tutti e manco a loro.
Ecco, mandano anche a loro perché domani dopo il break hanno detto mi fanno una mezz'oretta, un'oretta di Clarin, che così diciamo, facciamo l'acknowledge.
Digli di andare di fare degli esempi pratici.
Sì, sì, no, ho insistito molto, diciamo, per cui infatti la Monica ha coinvolto la Francesca Frontini, che dice lei è molto pratica, farà vedere come si usano i vari repository, come si mette la roba, come si fa queste cose qui, quindi speriamo in bene.
Va bene, ok.
Va bene. Ecco, volevo solo dire di mandare quindi anche l'invito anche a loro, così.
Sì, va bene, ok.
E poi basta.
Ok.
Siamo sopravvissuti a oggi,
Sì.
vabbè, sopravviveremo anche domani.
Sì, ce la faremo.
Ce la faremo.
Sì,
No, te semmai devi dirmi come se io, diciamo, non so se io ho le autorizzazioni necessarie, se per caso te la mattina alle 9 non puoi far partire.
No, lo posso, tranquillo.
Poi sempre, ecco.
Comunque immagino che tu possa farlo partire anche da solo. Sono link che sono autogeneranti.
Sì, ma da quale team vengono fuori?
Non vengono fuori da un team.
Ah, ecco, allora questo è un aspetto di...
È quello che mi ha convinto Pesseghini, cioè il fatto che tutti potevano in qualche maniera partecipare. L'unica cosa, il recording è di chi inizia la registrazione, ok? Quindi ora io devo capire, dovrebbe essere su Drive.
Ma quindi nel caso peggiore, diciamo, io posso andare su, diciamo, fare il login